Rock on 2.1 KFML. We're live on the podcast broadcast on this Friday because in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll be speaking with the lead singer of Avatar, who's performing this Sunday over at Rialto Theatre, Johannes. And I'm lucky to even speak with him because they almost, as a band, as a cohesive unit, got electrocuted to death on stage about a month ago. We'll talk about that and some other things here in the podcast broadcast. But first, of course, there's been a lot of news happening in the mainstream media. And they're going to tell you to believe whatever they want you to believe. But I'm here to help read between the lines for you in another round of Ask a Conspiracist. So with that said, Mari, what news caught your attention this week?
All right, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is reportedly investigating the NFL after years of fans complaining that it's becoming harder and more expensive to watch games. Many fans now need multiple streaming services just to see certain games. And investigators are looking into whether the league is using anti-competitive tactics that harm consumers.
Right. Big business.
I know. Yeah. The NFL has historically had special antitrust protections dating back to the 1961 Sports Broadcasting Act. I mean, I could not watch the U of A basketball games.
Yeah, I know.
I got something on YouTube, but then literally there was a thing over it. It was so hard to watch a game.
Oh, I know. And every day it's a different channel, and you gotta subscribe to this, you gotta go there, you gotta go here. I mean, big business is in control of everything, media and other things. But don't worry about this one. This one is not necessarily about that. I could go with the official consumer conspiracy, or I can go with the conglomerate conspiracy. And here's a conglomerate conspiracy. You're missing the bigger picture.
I am?
Yeah, because this isn't about streaming rights. It's a national IQ test. The government and the NFL are secretly studying how much nonsense football fans will tolerate before they finally snap. And you got to think about it like this. Thursday night, one streaming app. Sunday ticket, that's another. Sunday night, that's a network TV deal. A Monday night, that's a different channel. Playoffs, somewhere else entirely. So they're basically running a psychological endurance experiment on middle-aged men. How many subscriptions will a man buy before his wife leaves him?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they're collecting this data for future government programs like national stress threshold testing, marriage stability studies, and beer consumption forecasting.
That makes sense because drinking's down too, right?
Yeah, but they're trying to make it go back up. So the best way to do that is make it like you watch the first half on Peacock. You watch the second half on Netflix. What am I doing? So once they determine that breaking point, the government will release a new emergency alert saying, attention citizens, the Cowboys game has moved to Peacock Ultra Premium Plus Platinum. And that's when riots begin, right? So
I don't know, or people just pay, dude. People love their sports.
They do. And the NFL isn't losing viewers. It's just stress testing the American male.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else catch your attention this week?
Yeah, this was pretty peculiar. A man walking near Dorchester Bay in Boston filmed what appeared to be twin water spouts. Forming on a clear day. And meteorologists say that the formation was unusual because one of the spinning water spouts was clockwise, counterclockwise, right? So that's strange. That's not typical. Usually it is clockwise. This one was counter, and the experts say they think airplane traffic from Logan Airport may have caused the phenomenon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, blaming airplanes again, huh? Are we always going to blame the airplanes?
We could.
Classic cover story.
Really?
Yeah, those weren't water spouts. They were interdimensional drains, obviously. Yes, completely. So if you think about this, two spinning vortexes suddenly appearing in the ocean, it's not weather, right? That's Earth unplugging something. And those vortexes and those, spouts were spinning in different directions. Come on. NASA has been secretly testing gravity siphon technology to clean microplastics out of the ocean. But something went wrong. Instead of sucking the trash out, it accidentally opened up two temporary wormholes in the Atlantic Ocean and to another dimension. So what lives in that other dimension, you ask? Probably stuff that we already think lives in our ocean, like giant squids, alien fish, the missing Malaysia Airlines plane.
Oh, it's still missing.
Oh, yeah, they never found it. It's in this other dimension.
They found Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, but that was pre-dimensional stuff. They also have every pair of sunglasses ever dropped off a boat. So the planes from Logan Airport didn't cause the vortex. That's the most important part of this, right? They are actually just circling the area, trying to keep whatever was down there from coming up. So Boston didn't see water spouts. They saw two cosmic bathtubs draining at the same time.
So we're not going to get Gojira anytime soon?
Oh, no, that's still a possibility, but not from these.
Oh, okay.
All right. Any other news catch your attention before we hit the reset?
Yes, in China, KFC is partnering with electric vehicle company BYD to build charging stations that fully charge EVs in about 9 minutes. That's it. So drivers will be able to pull in, plug in their car, grab a bucket of chicken, some potatoes, and leave with a fully charged battery.
So you really think they're charging cars, huh?
Yeah, why not?
That's adorable. No, they're charging you.
How? I don't have a plug-in.
Look, this is the first phase of human energy harvesting. So you got to think about this plan. You pull in the KFC, you smell fried chicken. You sit down, you eat a massive bucket of chicken and grease and sodium. Your heart rate spikes. Your body becomes an electrical powerhouse.
Really?
Yep.
From chicken?
Yes, from chicken and sodium and everything else. Meanwhile, the seat that you're sitting in is secretly wired with bioelectric sensors that harvest the energy that your body produces trying to digest fried chicken.
Oh, it's that intense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, little Nikki eats a lot of fried chicken.
Yes, absolutely. And then that electricity gets pumped straight into the charging station. So the car isn't being powered by the grid. It's being powered by your chicken-induced metabolism. Wrap your mind around it. I know it's difficult, but, it takes 9 minutes because that's exactly how long it takes the human body to go from, this chicken smells good, to, why is my heart doing the drum solo? And the real slogan of KFC isn't finger licking good now. No, it's finger licking fuel.
Oh.
Think about that. With that said, again, always be skeptical of the mainstream narrative. When they tell you these things, you got to learn to read between the lines. And if you can't read between the lines, don't worry. You could always ask a conspiracist. All right. And Clearski. Good morning, everybody on the stream. Yes, we're looking forward to a good conversation here with Johannes from Avatar, who's going to be performing at the Rialto Theatre this Sunday. That's a big deal. We're also going to have Tamara probably pop in for the oddities market, which is happening here. And I got an official invite for a Beef Games recap meeting from Larry McDonough. So he's got this guy not only wants all the jobs, he wants all the email addresses. I'm like, this is a new email address. So give me a break, dude. Yeah, so it'll be fun. But I'm gonna have to hold my ground as you will, because once you do something fun, then corporate comes in. And it's like, now we want to get our fingers in it and try to ruin it. And I will protect this baby
all costs.
By all costs. I reminded Larry, I'm like, hey, Larry, if this is successful, you're going to give me fuck you leverage. And he's like, well, why is that a bad thing? And I'm like, you'll see. So that's what's happening here. Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys are having a good time this morning so far and getting ready for just a nice weekend. If we can enjoy a nice weekend, a lot of fun things happening around town this weekend. We'll get to that as well. But as we get geared up, ready to go, let's hit the reset here. And earlier this morning, we did a couple things, Mari and I, FML News, FMLs. We had an interesting conversation about the Melania Trump press conference out of nowhere. That was pretty fun. And music news on Taylor Momsen. That's just some of the things that we're going to cover this hour, plus some news that'll make you go, ooh, and some fun stuff. So let's get things started with our FML news. Check this out. Today. We got Draft My Lives coming up next, but I do have FML news that I want to share with you, Mari.
Okay.
If this was an email sent to me, it would read, Beef, I am an immigrant trying to smuggle myself into India.
Oh, no.
But met a wall of crocodiles and poisonous snakes. F my life. No, this, I guess this wouldn't be an email, but this is going to be a future F my life for India. Now, obviously, when it comes to protecting borders, it's always a hot topic issue. And what's the best way to kind of, protect a border? For us in America, we were promised massive walls, but, walls, you can scale those. In India, they have an immigration problem as well. Did you know that?
I did not.
Which is insane, too, because they already have 1 billion people there.
So many people.
So they pretty much, their immigration stance is saying, please stop coming in. We got no more room.
We're full.
Yeah, we are over full. You see us how we ride trains? We stack on top of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so what they did, though, for their creative solution is going to cost or create long-term problems potentially. They are deploying crocodiles and snakes in rivers along the borders.
Wow, like in a moat of sorts? Like there's a moat full of dangerous animals?
Yes, it's going to be actual rivers. And you think to yourself, oh, what can go wrong? And everything, right? Obviously, this is kind of short-sighted because experts of wildlife say, hey, this is a disaster waiting to happen. Now, this is primarily along the wet, marshy stretches of India's border with Bangladesh, which really isn't suitable for fencing and physical barriers, right? So these areas can flood and river pathways shift over time. So they're like, we can't build a wall, so we got to do something. So they basically said, okay, we'll create a biological barrier to make it dangerous and challenging to cross. But now wildlife experts say it could be a huge mistake because dumping all these predators into an area could have a major and irreversible impact on local ecosystems. It's like, yeah, right?
Of course.
So they're trying to turn their rivers along, their border into Australia. And then those rivers flood. So say you're in town, you're like, it's fine. We got just poisonous snakes and crocodiles along the river, but I'm about, like 2 miles in town. Then all of a sudden the flood comes and a crocodile comes sweeping through your front door. Things are hitting the fan.
You know what? I give them points for creativity.
Yeah, but I know for ecological welfare and everything, negative points. So I think that's going to be enough my life here in the next 10, 20 years. We'll find out. But with that said, your emails coming up after Theory of the Dead Man. Here's RX on Rock 102.1 KFMA.
Self-loving by your mom.
Awkward.
It is awkward. Did you do something that got you fired?
All right. Back here live on the stream, and then we're going to get on the air because we want to talk up the oddities market as I got Tamara back with me. Tamara Mack, one of the coolest names in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome. So, yeah, in a little bit, we'll be talking to Johannes. But Tamara, she came in bearing goodies. Now, we got too excited about this. First and foremost, let me show the flyer that you got for this oddities market. And we're going to get on the air to talk it up because you actually moved it to a different location.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, and in about, 20 minutes, we're going to be talking with Johannes. But, yeah, the oddities market here, the Tucson Terror and oddities market with the Rabid Rabbit. It looks good. It's going to be this Sunday in the daytime, which is great, too, because you could literally go from, for a Sunday fun day, the oddities market goes straight to the Rialto Theatre to see Avatar. And so
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday too? It's not
Yeah.
Saturday? I can make a Sunday.
The oddities market and like Avatar, it just kind of actually works out. It's a good combination there, dude. So we'll get on the air here in just a minute, talk about that. But then Tamara also brought to us some more smelling salts. And we got too excited about this. I don't know if you ever tried the smelling salts, but they are phenomenal. And they get nice and clear and wake you up. And then you act like I got excited about this. But secretly what happened was we got these smelling salts from Tamara a few months ago, or from John.
Unbreakable Gear.
Yes. And so as a joke or a bit, I was like, you're sleepy, smell the smelling salts. And so Kendall did it. Mari did it. We all did our a knee-jerk reaction to it, and they hit strong. Yeah. And you're like, whoa. Then what I didn't see happening was all the girls on the sleepy days, all of them, Mari included, would be like, let me get a hit of those salts. And so they started to become like a performance enhancement, right?
Well, Rico.
Rico? What do you mean, Rico?
He's going to be very happy.
Yeah. Well, I think you would be happy. Should I try it before we get on the air?
Yes.
Okay, let's see how strong this is.
It's brand new.
Get it up there.
Okay, here we go. Don't try this at home, or you can try this at home. All right.
Oh, it's strong.
Is it a hot one?
Oh, my God. Oh.
That's a strong one.
Oh, that went straight to the brain, dude.
Don't need coffee. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, you don't.
All right. Johannes, I see you backstage. Oh, I'm going to be ready for you, man. I hope you're ready for me. I'll get you on here in just a minute. Oh, my God. Whoa. That was way too strong. I was not ready for that. Oh, our last one.
It was
all right.
It's everywhere, though.
Oh, I know. Can you smell it?
Yes.
Okay. Rock 102.1 KFMA. We're back here live on the podcast broadcast. Joining us in studio here real quickly is Tamara Mack, who is the host of the Tucson Terror and Oddities Market here. And you got a new location that's happening right now, right, Tamara?
Yeah, we're at the Ramada by Wyndham, right off of Cushing Street and the I-10 frontage road. Big,
Okay.
nice location, air conditioned, free parking, bar,
nice.
all kinds of things going on.
Oh, nice. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, each and every year it makes it bigger and better. It is free. And then you got a rabid rabbit meet and greet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically your mascot for this one, huh?
Right. That's the alter ego, of course, to the Easter rabbit, just like Krampus is to Santa.
Yeah.
And it's from 12 to 3. He will be there doing photo ops, meet and greets with people. It's free. And there's definitely some epic, memorable photos.
Why switch to the Ramada by Wyndham?
It's a lot bigger. It allowed me to have more vendors there, more
Yeah.
activities going on, and of course, free parking is important. We didn't have that downtown.
No,
you're
you
right.
did not. In fact, actually, if you
conditioning.
attempted to park across the street, they would charge you like $20. It's to
Or
say
tell
not
you.
Tamara. Yeah. No, it's the biggest scam lot in all of like 4th Avenue. I hate that lot.
Yeah.
And it's not Tamara's fault. So yeah, that makes sense. For sure. So 777 West Cushing Street, Ramada by Wyndham. They're gonna have a big version of the Tucson Terror and Oddities Market. So even more oddities, horror, goth, oddities, occult, bone art, paranormal. Plus, there's going to be drinks and tarot card readings, photo ops, and alien egg hunt. What's an alien egg hunt?
That's for the kids.
yes.
The Easter eggs are done. That's past.
Yeah.
But they can find those alien xenomorph eggs and find out what treasures are.
Okay.
for them.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
and then
Yes.
there's
My
a vendor
kids love that.
bingo, and there's lots going on. So
I
plus
love
50
that.
vendors, so food trucks and everything.
Well,
Wow.
excellent. Well, thank you. I mean, I'm excited for it. You know, that you continue to roll along with these each and every month now, right?
Yeah, every month.
Yeah, and it
Each
just
month
continue to
stops.
grow bigger and more exciting. So Tucson or terranodditiesmarket.com to get your information. But again, it's happening this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on, it says April 12th. Yeah, April 12th
Yeah,
is
this
the date.
Sunday.
Duh. All right, cool. Yeah, so with that said, you definitely check out the Tucson Terror and Oddities Market. Tamara, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for the goodies, too.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Looks like Johannes will come back. He was backstage for a minute, and then he's like, I'll be back later. So, all right, well, we'll hit the reset there. Anything else, actually, while we have you? Any other things that we missed besides the Skull Smash?
No, of course, that's unbreakablegear.com. They can get that at, and that's perfect for anybody who needs a little bit of an amp.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have Mari do this here real quick.
I don't know. I kind of got the whiff from like.
I know.
This
I know. Try not to go too hard, but
Close your eyes.
okay, so this is smelling salts that has been like
Not for kids or sissies.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get on skin or eyes.
That's what it says?
Do not ingest. If you have health concerns at all, ask your doctor before using this product.
Fair.
Don't
Fair.
warn you.
I love it. Okay.
Ooh, it's got a werewolf.
All right,
Close your eyes.
let's do it. See what it sounds like. Close your eyes. Oh, how do you feel? How do you feel?
No, it's so strong.
You okay? How you feeling?
Ooh,
Yes.
my eyes.
Yeah. All right, let's stop watering.
It's not
All
like
right.
the last one.
This Sunday, the Tucson Terror and Oddities Market. Again, that's at the Ramada by Wyndham, 777 West Cushing. Visit them online, terranodditiesmarket.com. Tamara, always a pleasure. Thank you for coming in.
See you later.
All right, we're going to keep the conversation moving on to podcast broadcast. Coming up next, Johannes from Avatar. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA, and here's System of a Down.
Whoa.
Excellent. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Tamara.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
you.
We were able to
Glad to
squeeze in. Have fun with Frank if you can.
On the moon right
Yes, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll probably
All right.
see you Sunday.
Yeah, I'll see Sunday
Thank-
with the kids. I'll bring my kids
now.
finally.
Please do. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
they
we're
love
gonna do our F My Life, and then we'll have Johannes join us right after this. Check this
Your
out.
job?
I just get stupid.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600 KFMA right away
I promise we won't embarrass you.
because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, it's time for another edition of your F My Life. These are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beefvegan@kfma.com. Subject line FML. But of course, if you have an F My Life you care to share on the air, and give us a call at 600 KFMA. That's 600-5362. And if Mari and I agree your life is F, we'll hook you up with a pair of tickets for your Tucson Roadrunners Friday, April 17th. The last two games of the regular season are upon us that weekend, the 17th and 18th. Let's go Tucson. Are you ready, Mari?
Ready.
All right, first email sent to me by Caleb. Caleb said, Beef, my wife got fired for leaving work early once again. She's been doing random quote-unquote spot checks for the past month, convinced that she'll catch me cheating on her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this paranoid crap is exactly why I'm filing for divorce.
Yeah, I mean, she got fired over it.
She got fired over her paranoia, and
again, he said too.
Yes, so not only did she lose her job, but she's in the midst of a divorce now as well because of this. The whole thing is messy. F my life, what do you say?
Yes.
Yeah, and for both of you, I mean, to be in a relationship where you feel like you have no trust like that, and you're compelled to try to catch the other person for whatever reason, whether there's signs or not. It's not a good feeling.
No.
I know it well. So with that said, F my life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, next up, my life said to me by Alyssa. She said, Beef, I was getting ready for work, and when I stepped back, my ankle rolled on my fat ass, and my fat ass landed on it with my foot sideways under me. Now I'm in a boot for 6 weeks and have 6 weeks of physical therapy ahead of me. Well, the fat ass sounds nice, Alyssa. That's cool.
No, that sounds painful, though. FML.
Yes, it definitely sounds painful, and that's enough my life for the next 6 weeks. But you know what? In hindsight, small amount of time. Good luck, and hope you feel better. All right, next email sent to me by Dylan. Dylan said, during my shift at a restaurant, my boss's daughter came in. Oh, I should play this kind of music.
Oh.
I couldn't help but notice that she was almost popping out of her low-cut top.
Okay.
After having a private chat with her, my boss took me inside and said, "My daughter's got eyes, not just a pair of boobs."
Oh no!
Yeah. Got busted just staring at the breasticles, if you will. F my life for Dylan.
Yes, keep your eyes up at the eyes.
It's tough. I mean, I imagine Dylan's in that age, maybe anywhere from like 18 to 25, right? The breasts are magical things, right?
And you have no self-control, though. Like
at that age, you're so brimming with testosterone, and it's just such a biological need to procreate. And
really?
Jump on every nice pair of breasts you see. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know. It's a powerful thing. And it takes a while for you to kind of get over that. And honestly, it doesn't stop at 25. And then for some, it never stops.
Wow, I learned so much.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I mean, I've trained myself. So when a woman comes in with a super hot cleavage, right? I have to, in my head, tell myself an eye level that I'm going to look at appropriately.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and the better the breast, the higher I look up. And if a woman walks in here right now with, say, like a double D cup, pushed together, looking like Dolly Parton, just looking phenomenal. Stealing.
Oh, okay. Because you just can't trust your eyes.
I can't trust my eyes. And I'm trying to have respectful conversations.
Yeah.
So at that point, I turn into Ray Charles. I just start moving my head around, looking straight up. Like, yeah. Like, I hear you. I hear the words coming out of your mouth. I don't see you. Don't need to see you.
You gotta mentor this guy, though. You gotta share some tips. He needs this. That's a boss's daughter.
I just did share those tips, and that's how it is. I mean,
really take him aside and teach him.
Right, I know.
You're gonna get in more trouble.
No,
this is the start.
No, it's so common, Dylan. Don't even feel bad about it. In fact, like I said, it happens to all of us all the time. Some more than others, for sure. And if there's any tips out there for you guys listening, how you avoid from getting caught looking at cleavage, because you still want to look at it. Yeah. You just don't want to get caught doing it, then let me know. It's 600K FMA. All right, 2 more left here. Monica said, I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth extracted. Under anesthesia, I told the dentist my entire love life and drug history in detail.
I love
my life. What do you say?
No, big baby. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Transparency is key.
Yeah, I'm sure the dentist got a kick out of it too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, final left my life for the day is a doozy, and I feel like you possibly relate. Evan said, Beef, my mother got remarried. I'm now officially older than my stepfather.
Oh, no.
Dun, dun, dun. What do you say? Is that enough my life?
Yes, absolutely.
That is funny because it's a possibility for you.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your mom's still out there, and she might find herself a young one, and she will shack up.
Yep.
All right, so
you're not wrong.
Yeah, and so you feel F my life in that scenario. Be awkward.
I do, yeah. If they're younger than me and I have more years on them, that's so weird.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, definitely. All right, Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. We'll see. I think he'll pop back on. We're back here live on the air. Mari's recovering from the smelling salts. That was fantastic. Brutal. I know it was brutal, but we're moments away from being rejoined by Johannes from Avatar. Now, Avatar. I should not say it wrong. And I hope I'm not saying his name wrong as well. But I did see him backstage. He was on stage right at like 9. And then I'm like, damn, I got to squeeze in Tamara in. It's one of those things where, when it rains, it pours type deal, right? And so we had to plug this local terror market. But Avatar is actually performing at Rialto, not this Sunday, next Sunday. And what a busy couple days for Rialto Theatre, because they're going to have Avatar with a bunch of great bands on Sunday night, and then they're going to have Guar on Monday night
for 420, that's
dude.
Right.
It's going to be like chaotic. The 48 hours there
that's cool,
at Rialto, super metal, super fun, and so back-to-back dates there. Flooding the Rialto Theatre is going to be massive. And now, how are you recovering? Is your eyes less watery?
I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I told you you're going to be okay.
I don't know.
It was only a matter of time.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So. That was intense.
All right. Well, while we have like a moment while we're waiting, we're going to hit the reset here on our stream. Let's do our Florida Man story of the day, because I have a bunch of those.
Florida man, catch an alligator in the trash can. If you can't do it, no one can. Come on now, Florida man.
How about we start with the mug shots on the podcast broadcast of these two Florida men here, looking like straight up Florida men, do they not?
Yeah, it's in the eyes.
Yes, it's in the eyes. These two men who are in their 50s were arrested in Florida for driving around with a dead gator strapped to the roof of their car, Florida man style. Now, you just can't do that. Several people even tried to warn them that they can get in big trouble. So at one point, they tried covering it up with a white sheet, which made it look like a dead body was on top of their car.
Yeah, I could see that.
Eventually, the cops caught up with the guy. The guys claimed that they didn't kill the gator, saying they found it as roadkill on the side of the road, and they were just going to plan on taking it home and taxidermy it and, have a stuffed gator laying around the house.
I mean, that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I'm sure those are cool to have, but at the end of the day, you can't just go out and do that in Florida.
Even if it's roadkill?
Even if it's roadkill. You can't turn it into a hood ornament. You got to at least, prop it up in the backseat of your car, put sunglasses on it, and pretend that it's alive. Weekend at Bernie's style. That's legal in Florida. Putting it on the hood, strapping it there like a Christmas tree is not legal. So both men were arrested and charged. They were booked and later freed after posting $5,000 bond apiece, and they're going to be back in court on the 28th. So just showing you that Florida man has no bounds in taste or when it comes to taxidermying, right? So that is our Florida man story of the day. Fascinating, right?
Very much so.
Excellent mugshots as well.
Generations, the legend of Florida man. The legend of Florida man.
Yes.
The legend of Florida man.
Legendary indeed. All right, let's get the reset on the FM side. When we return, we'll be speaking with the lead singer of Avatar, Johannes, right after this. Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. All right. So with that said, let's continue our F My Life. So actually, I want to scrub ahead a little bit to our moment of Melania. There she is. Because that Melania thing was so funny. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a press conference out of nowhere that baffled everybody and pissed off the president. And it was about allegations that weren't even mentioned for months on end. And I had a theory about that with some audio. In case you missed it, went like this. Check it out. Or that, people were forgetting about the Epstein files. But luckily, we got a odd reminder yesterday as the First Lady, Melania, made a unannounced press conference and just showed up and was like, let me talk to the people of America. Yes. And she did. And it was bizarre. I mean, it was random to say the very least. In fact, actually, I'll play you a little clip as we get caught up because we're trying to figure out what in the hell and why. But yeah, this is First Lady Melania, a little snippet from her 6-minute public address that she, again, didn't announce, just showed up and did in front of, American flags and a whole official statement. I mean, it was just like basically within like 2 minutes, like, oh, by the way, the first lady's going to speak. Everyone gathers around. She goes to a podium and she says this.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone. Several prominent male executives resigned from their powerful positions after this matter became widely politicized. Of course, this doesn't amount to guilt, but we still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth.
Okay. Yes. And she's right. That was part of it, right? Where she literally calls on, accountability for those listed in the Epstein list. But at the beginning of this, she basically went on the record saying, hey, I have no association with Epstein, and I was not introduced to my husband for Epstein. And then she also denied, any nefarious activities back on. I had being you wait involved long enough. With. Now you can hear me. All right, welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for your patience. Hello, and good morning. It's good to see you on the stream.
Hi. Good to see you too. Yeah, thank you. It's there seemed to have been a brief scheduling mix-up, but now I'm here and I feel good.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to keep you waiting. I just, I had our friend Tamara pop in.
I don't think you didn't keep me waiting because this time was given to someone else according to my spreadsheet that I'm now gonna do in 45. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Of things.
Will you make it happen? And thank you for joining us.
Now I am where I need to be when you need me to be there. So in your world, absolutely nothing changed.
Well, where are you at right now in the world? Speaking of which,
I'm at home in Helsinki, Finland.
Nice.
Wow.
You said wow.
Well, because in 2 weeks you're going to be in the States then. So when do you come?
Yeah, but we have planes now, so I don't have to take the boat. So 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Is that like how long is that flight?
I don't remember where we land actually for the first thing, but it depends. Oh, we are going all the way to the West Coast first, California. It's gonna suck. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I've got to fly out to Japan soon. And it's a daytime flight, so we have to leave at 1 p.m. when usually we do a midnight flight to Japan. And that's nice because you just sleep. But when you leave at 1, we're going to be awake for the majority of the flight. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a part of the gig, which when you go on this tour and start on the West Coast and stuff, you're going to be on for what, about 6 weeks doing this run?
Yeah, just short of 6 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And then welcome. And first and foremost, I want to say congratulations on not dying on stage. You guys had a very scary experience where, your stage became electrified and a couple people got electrocuted while on stage. I thought this was something that only would happen during the rain in 1969 when you would touch a microphone. This is every lead singer's biggest fear, is it not? Yeah.
But it goes to show how good it is that we were so early, in our careers, meaning before anyone would call it a career, we kind of splurged on wireless stuff, which is how we could walk around being oblivious to it, I think, as well. But that was just one thing that happened on that tour. That was one show. Then I got food poisoning and I had to reschedule 3 shows. Wow. And then also the brakes broke on the bus. We were standing still. But just one of those things that also happened because, winter. And so I had to, take a super early morning flight to catch the Oslo show. And I'm sure I'm missing things on this list. But so far, this year has been, as far as touring goes, interesting. So America better treat me very, with silk gloves on. Gently.
Yes. I'm sure America will. I hope they do. But did it feel at one point you were like, what is this, Final Destination? What the hell's happening here?
Well, I also think, we had some scary things in traffics. We have, things, of course, I went on my first tour bus when I was 19 years old. So meaning, 2 years ago. And, and since then, we've been very lucky, mostly, as far as health. Things happen over the decades. I mean, the 2 years. And now it feels like it all came around to that everything had to happen all at once. I
Right.
choose to believe, and now I'm jinxing it. I don't believe in jinxes, but you still don't like doing jinxes, right?
Yeah, yeah. You
So,
still want to
but
rock and roll.
I feel like, oh, we got all of that out of the way. Now it's going to be smooth sailing all the way to Tucson, Arizona.
And I'm sure it will be. And playing the legendary Rialto Theatre is a great room for these kind of shows. And I know that Tucson's going to be rabid and excited when you guys come to town, even on a Sunday night. Which makes it rough. We were telling actually that it's going to be 48 hours in Tucson where we go back to back at the Rialto with you guys, and then the next night is Guar. Right. And so you're
Oh,
you're
nice.
talking.
Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
they play after us, I guess, to clean up from.
Exactly.
I've never seen them myself.
You haven't seen them live?
I would have loved to.
It is messy.
But I'm just thinking that going to the just as far as being another band on the bill, or in our case, day after sounds good from what I've heard.
Yeah.
I went to. They have a restaurant in Richmond, I think, that is owned by them or some of them. Something very Gwar branded. I've been there. That was good.
Yeah.
Lots of blood.
Nice. Well, we're on the air right now, Rock 102.1 KFMA. We got Johannes from Avatar. Avatar is going to be performing in the Rialto Theatre, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, the 19th. And we're talking about Guar because Guar is playing like literally the day after. It's 48 hours at the Rialto Theatre that you're just going to, you basically got two heavy acts, but also acts that are similar and different in a way because Avatar kind of creates a universe upon itself, because it doesn't just feel like a band. It feels like a whole universe. So when did you realize that this was turning into something bigger than just like a metal band?
Well, it's probably with Black Waltz, but it's also been an evolution over the years. But with Black Waltz was finally where the thing clicked of what does our music look like, and then we kind of start to open up that door, which the whole metal circus trip came to be then. And then it has taken all these kind of different twists and turns. I think the universe building, one part is, of course, we visualize the things, right? We like to think about what the show looks like and sounds like, and we make our music videos, and we like to dress up and do all the things. And then the other part of it, though, I think is, and maybe more importantly, actually, is the songwriting that over the span of my 2-year-long career, with each and every album, it has been very important for all of us not to repeat ourselves, finding something we care about deeply, and never try to, avoid at all costs to be a parody of something we have already done. I mean, as long as it's Avatar, it's going to be some kind of metal we're doing. But then depending on where we are at in our lives, in our trip, it's going to lean into different things over the years, and whatever we find very important at the time. That's how we made, some dead serious albums and some comedy albums and everything, and usually some kind of mix of both and whatever else goes into the blend. And over the years, I think it creates kind of, if you get it, if you get us, you seem to really get us. And then the mythology, I think, becomes pretty interesting. There's a lot to be discovered with what we're doing. And those are the kind of bands that, or a lot of the bands that we like and artists have done similar things in their own way. I think it's all about curiosity.
Yeah, and honestly, in a way, you're ahead of your time in 2026, because when a new fan discovers you, then they could go down a rabbit hole of all this different content of not just music, but mythology and imagery, which makes it fascinating. And you're talking like days on end to try to do that. And yes, you guys are a metal band, but I mean, also, if people heard and know you by the song, say like the Dirt I'm Buried In, right? Like they're not going to associate that as a metal song. So there's a lot of range in your melodies and your music and stuff. So in that way, that song, which I find, super catchy radio song, and not a representation of necessarily Avatar and how heavy and like crazy your shows can actually get, but a catchy song nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess that's like it's tricky to sometimes talking like this. You try to triangulate between a couple of things to understand where we are at. And one huge part is, of course, that there are all kinds of metal subgenres and whatever, and there's a lot of it that we like a lot. But at the fundamentally, to make a long story short, I usually stick with that we are, heavy metal, very broadly speaking.
Right.
Then the thing is that when we started playing, when we got into rehearsal together for the first time, we were mostly covering bands like Cryptopsy, Cannibal Corpse, Slayer, Vader. So we learned to play by playing mostly death metal. So that's a huge chunk of the heavy stuff.
Right.
Comes from that world. And then I could sit here and probably talk Beatles with you for way longer than this show runs, and just the interest in songwriting, in melodies, and back to the word curiosity, because that's one of those Beatles things, right? That it seems, if you read the biographies and follow how songs were made, a lot of it seems to be that they heard something new, they saw something new, someone showed them a neat little trick on the guitar or in the studio or whatever, and they immediately want to make something out of it. So the whole discovery factor of what we're doing plays into it. So somewhere between, I don't know, Vader, the Beatles, and Judas Priest.
That's how you'd sum up Avatar. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
and the dirt I'm buried in fits in there somewhere.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely does. And do you feel like, considering all those bands that were your influence in super heavy bands that you started to emulate at your beginning made you better musicians and songwriters as you evolved? Because that's a complicated genre too. I mean, you're talking a lot of fast playing, a lot of chords, a lot of great musicianship is actually hidden under the distortion. But when you really strip it apart, you're like, man, you're on fire with your fingering and things like that.
How they influenced us, you asked.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good question. Well, obviously, there are a lot of intangibles, or also some very concrete things when I think about it. But starting with just whatever you do growing up, the stuff that shapes you, whether you have a choice or not. The fact that I think you will find, there are a disproportionate big amount of Swedish bands that have made some kind of splash out in the world, whether it be in pop or grindcore and everything in between, right? So, but with a lot of them, people seem to lift, they are melodic in certain ways in their own right. And part of that DNA, I think, is the music you didn't have a choice of hearing when you were a kid, right? So you have your ABBA, you have your whatever, the Pippi Longstocking theme, and the composers of that music. That, sometimes in children's shows, you can also see it, I think, in like, I don't know, Jim Henson stuff, that the music is way better than it needed to be if you ask some of the execs on who greenlit that children's show. And then you hear, those Muppet and Sesame Street songs, and it's just high level. Similar thing in Sweden. So those things are being fed to you. This is a very roundabout. I will get to your question as part of it. And so we infused ourselves with that DNA in ways I don't think we think about. Just kind of what kind of drum fill you want in a place if you don't really think about it, or how you set up an intro, even if the actual riff is not a death metal riff, there's just something about, hitting and choking that cymbal in a certain place or whatever. So little mechanics like that. And I think also the tuning, because our guitars have for the longest, they started out in being tuned in D standard, which for listeners who don't know, that usually a guitar is tuned in E standard. And then if you tune everything a bit lower, it goes down to D. And then another guy, Simon, who was with us for roughly a decade out of my 2 years career, who was with us, he like, if I'm going to join this band, we're tuning down to C. And so we did that. And then at some point we hit to something, B standard, so very low. And that's from the death metal world. And then because of the stuff we like to play on the guitars, is still the way the guitars are built, and the guitars we use for the detuning, because there's something called a baritone guitar that is supposed to be tuned like that is kind of big and heavy and stuff. But we try to make a normal guitar behave like that guitar in some ways, which kind of shapes the style of playing or the sound and things. So and because that's kind of, if someone doesn't have a specific idea, and we have tuned even lower on last album on some things because that's usually how it goes. But if you just pick up a guitar to noodle on and try to come up with a riff that is then in any guitar playing member's home, it's going to be in B standard. So that's already a starting point. Without straight out of the gate, the Dirt I'm Buried In with a disco beat is played on a death metal guitar.
Right.
So there you have a lot of it,
Yeah, even though it's clean, but it's like a death metal tuning.
Exactly. So you kind of, it's there before you even start.
Right.
It starts right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. On stage, let's talk about your stage performance, because that's something that everyone walks away just being blown away by, and it taps into the universe that you created. And on stage, you're kind of like a metal circus villain, but obviously off stage, pretty calm, collected guy, very, well-versed musician. How different are those two versions of you?
I sometimes think that I'm the last or the least qualified person to answer that. I think it's because, I don't know, it's mood and mindset rather than a character. If you've seen me, some things we have done with the band has included acting, and there's a reason we've done so little of it. So I'm not a proper actor. I relate, there are in terms of being a performing artist, being in the performing arts, I feel like you can kind of roughly, there are blends and overlaps in this, but roughly I think of that stuff like ballet, opera, theater, are performed pretty much meant to be the same. Once you have that thing, it needs to be the thing every time. There's just so much improvisation that fits in, or change of rhythm and expression that fits into a Shakespeare play, I think. And I have never done one, but you know what I mean. What we do, our side of the fence, of course, you got the rock and roll shows. I would also put stand-up comedy there. I would put, a magic show, close to magic. I would put professional wrestling there. In terms of that crowd reaction, reshapes your set, reshapes what you do. It's a living, breathing thing in the moment to a higher degree. And so I grew up watching a lot of pro wrestling, especially. And then somewhere in the mid 2000s, the old timers needed drug money and got paid to do breaking character interviews. And I found myself watching all of those and found those guys talk way more about their craft in a teachable way than, let's say, I've studied Rob Halford. I've studied Ozzy Osbourne. I've studied them, but they don't say that much about what they're actually doing. You have to pay close attention if you want to learn from there. But from the pro wrestling world, you have the most successful characters or gimmicks, or what you want to call it, in wrestling comes from finding something within them that they can dial up to 11.
Yes. So you're talking like the Stone Cold character or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, yes. Exactly. Because he was always, so I'm going to geek out about this a little bit, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
But short version, that how he was, a pretty blonde guy who was a huge Ric Flair fan and wanted to kind of be that and express that, and did okay, pretty darn good. But then he got fired from that company, went to, where he made a success. But there, the first kind of pigeonholed him to be a continuation of that, but a mean guy in a way that
ringmaster,
very much invent a character, the ringmaster, exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to keep it in I don't know how many of your listeners.
No, we can geek out on this, dude. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm like, but it makes sense too, because again, part of the show, and now it clicks in a lot of different ways, because the beauty and the art of the professional wrestlism and the blending of the realism with the stage show and the kayfabe and everything, and Avatar. Is very. I could see the similarities there. Yeah, but
and I don't think it's just Avatar. I think it becomes because I paint my face, and maybe first time I really liked that because I watched the Road Warriors as a kid and all of that. But
Yeah.
so it's maybe more obvious with us, but I think, Alice Cooper was at WrestleMania 3. There's been
Yes.
overlap and crossovers a lot along the way. So yeah, so I learned a lot from that. Basically, the circus arts, if you will,
Yes,
carnival stuff,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
rock and roll fits in that. And oh yeah, I guess we were talking about the difference between me here and me on stage.
On your
I
stage,
think
yeah,
it's
because
I think it's more about an opportunity to express sides of me or fully, but it doesn't feel any more or less real or genuine than talking to you guys now. I also think there's if you go clubbing, if you go to dance the night away at a rave in Amsterdam, and then the morning after you head over to grandma's house for Sunday roast or whatever you do, you were you last night and you are you at grandma's, who you love dearly, and it's just different opportunity to express different things.
right, but it'd say like and for this analogy, like Finn Balor or Jeff Hardy, they say when they put on their face paint, they tap in, it makes them feel like invincible, right? It kind of gives them that kind of extra to their character, to they go out and they immerse in that. So when you get into your full outfit, right, in rock star mode, which I mean, honestly, it's so much better than looking at just like a guy in a t-shirt and regular, depending on the show you want to go to. If you're talking 90s
Yeah,
grunge,
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it all depends. My go-to example always is I saw there was, I don't remember if they were the co-headlining or not, I don't remember, but Behemoth and Cannibal Corpse were on tour together. So Behemoth is this Polish blackish metal band who are very theatrical, very visual, it's a very spiritual, dark experience to see them, and they really put on a show and everything. And I see their set and it's like, this is perfect. This is everything I ever wanted to do. This is how metal should be. This is the answer. Okay,
Right.
cool. Then Cannibal Corpse go on stage. They drop the just a backdrop that should be, steamed, washed, ironed, something, washed up black t-shirts, no real concept intro. They start walking up on stage, and the light go whoops and turns off the light and then turns it on 2 seconds later, and they go into the first song, and it's just no frills, no BS, straight to the point. Let's play some death metal. And I go, this is perfect. This is everything I want metal to be. This is so I think it has to live like in your own heart, whatever you are and you do, and then it works, whatever. Then yeah, I prefer doing it like this. But now I sidetracked from what you were actually asking. I forgot where we were.
No, that makes sense. And we're talking with Johannes from Avatar. Avatar is performing at the Rialto Theatre, not this Sunday, but next Sunday, April 19th, rialtotheater.com. There's a couple of tickets left, but again, get it straight from the website, rialtotheater.com, or those, scammer sites out there. They will get you. We'll continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/PeteVegan. More coming up after music from Smashing Pumpkins on Rock 102.1. Clear. All right. Sorry. So we were on the air on that side. Now we're just on the stream going back and forth.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but no, that makes sense too. And it really depends on the show, the aspect and what kind of level of presentation. And some of those shows you want as experiences, which I really appreciate. And like Ghost is one of those examples as well, that you're going to say you're going to put on a full blown show. And then, have you ever, and I don't know, and I apologize if I don't know this, but has an Avatar song ever been a theme song for any professional wrestlers? Have you gotten in on that, or is that like a kind of a secret bucket list goal of yours?
Well, my biggest love for wrestling, as far as if the right person would ask now, I would listen. I just
Who would be the right person?
Well, now I'm not so up to date, and those I really liked up until recently. I like their theme songs too. We mentioned Finn Balor, and I hope it hasn't I really like that theme song that he used to have when I watched the most of him and stuff. So don't change that,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then then it's all about, what, ideally, and this doesn't answer your question, but so what we got over here when I grew up, because my peak watch, I'm born 86, so that means peak watching time was Monday Night Wars, and what I had easy access to for most of that time was through British TV, would rerun, in we would have a satellite, and the British airing of Cartoon Network would switch to TNT at 8 or 9 in the evening, and on Friday evenings they would show that Monday's Nitro.
Oh, okay.
So that is what I grew up watching, and
watching NWO and things like that. Yeah,
yeah, and WCW. You know, Jimmy Hart did some charming theme songs, but mostly they had stock music that was royalty free from like the Ted Turner catalog. So most of the music there was terrible.
Yes.
You know, WWE F at the time had their Mike Johnston guy, right, that wrote the Undertaker's theme and all of that, and that became way more iconic. So, and the worst was, I think, early mid-90s. They just have the same woman, I think, singing all these songs about the different wrestlers, the Steiner brothers and Sting. Man, call Sting. And they were all, those songs were all awful.
Yes.
You remember this?
Yes.
They were all awful. And only the Nasty Boys were cool because they sang it themselves and they couldn't sing. So that was great.
Yeah.
So I would have loved to travel back in time and get the mid-90s Ted Turner money. For fixing their theme songs.
Yeah, and take over all the theme songs. Like, this entire soundtrack is now.
Exactly. We can keep some. See, in these places where I consume my wrestling now, in terms of what I watch on YouTube and stuff, people are being awfully mean to Lex Luger's old theme in WCW when he was the good guy in the late 90s there. But I really did dug that, for instance. So they can keep some.
Would you ever?
And the Wolfpack theme was badass.
Yes, Wolfpack theme's badass, and then NWO for Hogan had Jimi Hendrix. Did you?
Yeah, that doesn't count though. Licensing songs.
Yeah. Would you ever sample the Lex Luthor good guy theme and try to turn that into a song that's metal?
No, well, it is kind of already a heavy metal song. No, it just needs to stay and be what it is, what it was. Yeah.
Nice. Let's get you a couple more questions and stuff. And I know that I'm sure you got a lot to get ready. What time is it over there right now? Because you're in Finland.
Yeah, 7:44 p.m.
Really?
It looks light outside. Yeah, it looks like it's daytime.
Yeah, it's very far north.
What time does it get dark at?
Well, a good question. Now it changes so fast this part of time of the year, but by 9 now it should be fairly dark, I guess. We pay back in the fall and over the winter, it's not like I'm not far enough north, like, because Helsinki is on the south coast. We're still aside from Reykjavik in Iceland, we are the northernmost European capital. Mm-hmm. So we don't quite get the midnight sun. If you're really lucky, you can catch some northern lights here and there. If it's not a bit of an overcast and it's by the coast, so it is. But it also, and like around midsummer stuff, the sun does go down, but you can't, aside from you're not seeing the sun, you barely notice that the sun is down though. For a few days.
It's like lit, like 24/7 kind of, like it's daylight.
Yeah, no, not quite, but that's above. If you go above the polar circle to the real north, remember everything is relative. Right. As far as Finland is concerned, I'm in the deep south now. Oh yeah. I'm down in Louisiana or something. Yes, everything relative to your own little borders. Yes. But if you go above the polar circle and where Santa lives and all that, then it's proper midnight sun. And then in the winter, you might have a week, or I don't remember how long. Differs. You don't see the sun at all for a while.
Well, what's the biggest food difference between northern Finland and southern Finland? Is there? Like, how when you travel around America, you go to different regions, you're going to get different regional food?
Yeah, I'm sure you have a bit of that. But I think the biggest thing is, so the South Coast is as densely populated as any, part of Europe. But if you just travel a few hours north, the rest of Finland is like Siberia.
Oh.
So, which means you can still find Mexican food up in Rovaniemi, I'm sure. But the selection in Helsinki is way ahead of the rest of the country, I would say. To generalize, someone in Turku, I don't know how many people from Turku you have in the stream watching, but
maybe I'll play back
by that.
All right, listen, we're gonna get on the air here in about 50 seconds, and we'll wrap things up with you and do some rapid fire questions, and then we look forward to having you out here, and hopefully safe travels on the entire tour.
Yeah, thank you. Knock on wood on that one.
Yeah. I feel like you got all the bad luck out of your system, and you go in there. And so, start on the West Coast, work your way back east, and then you're gonna fly from back east back home, then, huh? So that's kind of like a shorter.
Yeah, that's a bit more convenient. Yeah, which is also good because the jet lag traveling east is always way worse than west. So, if you end up on the West Coast and then fly back to Europe, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, so it's good planning. You guys been around the block a couple times, so I guess your tour manager and your booking agent kind of figure that out, right? I mean, heads would roll. No, they still
it's from tour to tour. Actually, depends on. There's so many factors that if Johannes has a problem with getting the lead singer doesn't get enough shut eye in his time off for a couple of days, is not part of that equation at all.
They don't care about that. They're just like, I guess that's a problem you're gonna have to deal with. Yeah,
this tour we build around a couple of festivals, so that kind of dictates the routing. So.
Yeah, it is the festival circuit right now. So what are the festivals that you're doing this year or for this tour?
I have to double check.
Yeah, it seems like Coachella season. Are you guys popping on Coachella at all?
We are not a Coachella band.
I know you're not a Coachella
I'm not saying it's not a personal preference.
Right, I get it.
But
being this April, that weekend, it's like Coachella weekends where you see those bands. But
no, we have those.
Rockville.
Yeah,
Sonic Temple.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Rockville, and what was the other one we're doing?
Sonic Temple.
Exactly. Yeah, those two should be.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Do you get to have fun when you go to these festivals, or do you treat it like any other gig? Meaning, do you?
No, it's fun. It's really nice change of pace, because we. It's getting worse actually because we're getting more popular. So we start playing later and later in the day, and some places we even get to play in the evening, which is good for your career. But there was something about you're on the road, you do your headline shows, you play late, you have your pattern. Then suddenly you wake up what feels like early, get ready to what feels like early, play in the sun, and then you take a shower, and then you have dinner, and then you stand around, and the sun is shining, and it's 6 p.m, and a bunch of bands are playing, and some of the bands, and suddenly it's and then it's a hang with people you didn't share the bus with for 3 weeks leading up to that. That we all love each other dearly, but it's just nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Now, we have in some places here, we got in that's coveted a headline slot and play later. You come back to the dressing room area afterwards, and it's empty. So, you try to catch some sets. You see some people you only see at festivals to continue a conversation from 3 years ago and get the party going. And all of that is cool with it. It's nice actually. This is a very normal thing for us for many years. I've been now to do a late spring into summer run in North America, and then hitting these festivals.
In a way, it's almost like a musician's conference, and then you get to hang out with your peers, maybe get inspired, network a little bit, link up for future tours, and enjoy the show. But I can see that how if you're playing later on in the night and after the show, obviously no one's around. But even before the show, you're getting ready for your show mentally, physically, getting dressed.
Yeah, you can still meet people and hang, and they still go to catering and see who's there, and all of that can still happen when you play later. But it's just not the same because you're not done. So you're walking around being building towards whatever you're going to be and whatever you're going to do later. So you're in
work mode. Mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You lose those, those hours of having done a thing, riding maybe a little, dopamine, adrenaline high of the show. And all of that.
Yeah. Well, it is a blessing and a curse with continued success. And
if any festival promoters listen to this, now I still want those late night slots. This is not me turning down opportunities to headline American festivals.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Let's get some rapid fire questions here before we let you go. But, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and catching up with you. And we're excited about your show, April 19th at the Rialto Theatre. All right, real quick, I got 5 or 6 quick questions. Favorite metal vocalist of all time and why?
There are too many choices.
I know.
That's hard.
You got to pick one.
I'm gonna pick Devin Townsend. Growing up, I think he stayed an active influence, because he, has all his extreme music and all his very soft music and everything in between, and does everything really well. So he could influence, like stylistically, there was a lot to bite into as a fan and as an aspiring young musician, and specifically the mix of the two and all of that. But many choices. I could also as easily said Halford and many others.
Absolutely. A lot of honorable mentions. All right, band you'd love to tour with and haven't.
Band I love, Judas Priest, speaking of Halford.
Yeah.
We are going, we got to do a short run in Brazil and then a longer run in Europe with Iron Maiden. Childhood bucket list, the dream, pinch yourself in the arm. We're gonna, as soon as we're done with this US tour, we're gonna do the first of a handful of shows with Metallica here in Europe. So bucket list, boom, boom, beam, bam, boom. And
yeah, you're checking them all
and
off.
if you look at yeah, that will sound a bit nonchalant when I think about it. But yes, to get to the point of in terms of mega influences to us, and not just influences, also simply that we're simply fans of from where we're standing, the olden days, the bands that were already well established when we got started, and those mega names. The one other I could think of that would fit up, as if you turn that into a trilogy, would be Judas Priest.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Rob's from Arizona too. All right, well, so what's the song you wish you wrote?
No, I was thinking, I immediately went, who made the most money off of one song?
That's the businessman creeping in. Yeah, that's good.
Doesn't Yesterday, Paul McCartney, doesn't that have some kind of Guinness World Record in terms of
sure
most covered?
Well, did it do as financially well as Pharrell's Happy? I don't know, but I don't know if you wish you wrote Happy. But yeah.
But also the longevity. Whatever Paul McCartney's song has done it started doing that in 1965 and keeps on doing.
Yeah, timeless.
And let's see, and no disrespect to Pharrell and Happy, but does it? Will it? For another 10, 20, 30 years, So I'm sure it will, but will it like a Beatles song? They're very good at grab, the documentaries and out of the way they put the name out there and with it in all these different manners nowadays. They reinvent, they grab a new audience every time. No, so I'm more real. I don't know if I wish I had. Okay, I have two answers. One is when I sit and write my lyrics, one person that I go back to more and more and more in the last bunch of years has been Paul Simon. And there's something, I can dig some Dylan. I love Leonard Cohen and, that.
Yeah, good lyricist, yeah.
Starting out in the 60s and being the amazing lyricist. There's something about that style, prose-like style, or what you want to call it, with a lot of Paul Simon that I find, so it's always feels like a little novel.
What's the Paul
song? Huge novel.
Yeah, what's the song?
So Simon and Garfunkel, I would pick America. The song, I think, is one of those that just ticks all those boxes that, if I could write something to that level in that style of storytelling with all that beauty in it, but it doesn't feel, the whole writing in metaphors, sure, that's a thing, right? But then it's pretty straight up a story about this couple on the bus going to New York, excited for life, then getting doubts and being afraid. So it's a story. But then what a well-told story like that can do, what that becomes a metaphor for in my life, in your life, in somebody else's, and that richness. So that's one. Then
Hold
I
on
had
one
this-
second.
we had-
We're going to continue the conversation and our answers here on the podcast broadcast. Got to wrap things up on the FM side. My apologies for interrupting, but don't forget Avatar Sunday, April 19th at the Rialto Theatre. You guys enjoy your weekend. You can join us on the podcast broadcast right now, youtube.com/beefvegan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
sorry,
do rapid
commercial.
questions. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's why we love doing the podcast aspect of going back and forth on the radio. And then it would have sucked to end the conversation, just for what is it, like a I don't know, a dick enhancement commercial, like.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah, like
I will say, by a
Continue.
lesser known song, but just a friend and his band that is amazing. This black metal band, Swedish, called Warheim, WARHEIM, and I think that he re-records it now. He wants to make a proper album and takes his time and all of those integrity stuff. So I don't think you can even hear it now. But he has this song called Ball, which is as groovy as black metal has ever been.
Really?
Ball is the kind of evil demon name. I don't know if you can hear it now, but if you can't, when the album is done, you can, and you will. I wish I wrote that riff. Pisses me off because before I heard it, because he's a friend of ours. So
Yeah.
Tim played that riff. They jammed that riff during a sound check, and like, you wrote that? No, it's Alex's song.
Yeah. You're like, oh no, we were just about to make $1 million. Like, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Wait, is that Torn Asunder? That song?
No, Ball, BAAHL.
Okay.
I don't know
yeah.
if it's there. I think it took it down because he had an EP, but he want to start fresh because the band had an up and down history, and they are doing a very proper album recording, but self-financed day job. And just when he went scraped up to get enough money, he goes to the proper studio, do it properly.
Nice.
Strong vision and yet to be discovered by the world broadly. So does it on his own dime, which totally respect, and a big fan of the music.
Once he gets that done and gets the proper act like behind him to be able to hit the road, is like a band that you'd be able to try to take out with you. Would you try to do that kind
I'd be
of stuff?
happy to. Yeah. We would be happy to. We all love them.
So something more to aspire to, like, yeah, get it done, and so
Yeah.
we can get you out there, and then maybe if you want to give us that song as a gift. Let's see. What's the strangest? Sorry, continue. Oh, well,
No,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna. What's the strangest place you recognize a fan? Right, so like all of a sudden you saw an Avatar fan in a place where you didn't expect you'd see an Avatar fan.
Oh, in my neighborhood, a guy in the building across came out in an Avatar hoodie, and I'm like, hi.
Nice. Did he recognize you? Because obviously when you're on stage, you're all done up. So
Yeah, no, but I've done enough interviews looking like this at this point. So
Yeah.
no, it's not like Ghost before the lawsuits and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We never wear that. We never wear that secret about it.
That's good. Yeah. And it wasn't weird. He's not like just stopping by. He's not like your new Kramer. That's a Seinfeld American.
No. He was super cool, and because I recognized what it was for him, meaning that the potential awkwardness, because this is a functioning adult, so that nice sweater. They're like, yeah, no, and that was it.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's good. At least it didn't get weird. And then just every now and then, so what are you doing? Like every day. If Avatar started a cult, then what would the rules be of said cult? I got to ask you an internet clicky question here.
I don't know. Those don't matter. The rules
don't matter?
don't matter. No. You just some arbitrary rules to make it. All I know is we discussed this. I would be an amazing cult leader, and I would be rich. And also, and just don't overextend.
Right. Yeah.
And it would be great. So the rules, I would, I could put those together in a late afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can say whatever. Look at the Scientologists and all those terrible people doing terrible things. So, and there are many like that. So, but
Yeah.
but I will never do it because I'm not a sociopath, but I would be very good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, you recognize that. Well, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Thank you so much.
Likewise,
Can't wait for
thank
your
you.
show at Rialto. That's going to be amazing. Have fun at the festivals and all the run, and just get here safely. We look forward to doing this again.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Absolutely.
gotta
Yeah,
run
we'll
to the
talk more
next
wrestling
one,
next
so-
time too. We gotta go.
Absolutely.
Like old school. Talk about all the good Attitude Era stuff. Oh, I know.
Absolutely.
You know all of it.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you
So,
guys for
yeah.
watching. Yeah. Well, we'll talk to you guys on Monday. All right. We're gonna wrap things up. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.